Well, ladies and gentlemen, you got what you wanted. You wanted a realistic basketball game. A slow, sluggish, overpriced, laggy ass game. That is the game that we got, ladies and gentlemen. And it's not looking good for the future for 2K25. What happened to 2K? What happened to the game we used to love? What happened to the game to where we can just wake up in the morning, brush our teeth, wash our face, take a shower, hop on, and just have fun playing the game? The fun aspect is not in the game no more. And I'm tired of it. Deep dive in 2K and see what's going on and why realism is destroying the game and why certain players need to just realize it's just a skill issue at the end of the day. And listen, I am tired of people complaining about the game. I'm tired of people complaining about how, in real life, Steph Curry shoots this and that and the third. LeBron James shoots this, that, and the third. He shoots like 30%. Steph Curry may shoot like 50%, right? Ray Allen may have shot 45%. I don't care. If I'm wide open and I shoot a three and I time it correctly, it should go in 100% of the time. It's not my fault that you're playing bad defense in a virtual basketball game. I wish it was back the way how the old 2Ks were. Because in the older 2Ks, there was much speed in the game. The game was much more reactive. For example, 2K11 was a great reactive game. I mean, if you played 2K11 back in the day, it was a much more fast pace, the speed was there. But now where the game is at, it's very slow. It's very sluggish. It's very stiff. Your player, at times, you don't even feel in control of your player on offense, and even most of the time, even on defense, because the game is sliding so much because the offense is so overpowered in the game because they had a nerf defense. Defense has gotten so much of a nerf to go make offense look more of a priority, which is a huge problem because if you nerf defense, then what is the point of certain badges like Hall of Fame Anchor or Hall of Fame Interceptor? These badges have gotten nerfed because the offense is so OP to appeal to a casual audience that doesn't care about 2K or its game itself. The problem with 2K right now is that the game is just not fun. I have everybody trying to say, it needs to be more realistic or it needs to be arcade. At the end of the day, the game needs a balance of both. That's how you make a great game. That's how 16 was, in my opinion. And that's why 16 to me is always going to be the greatest 2K that has ever came out. Because it was just a great balance between both arcade and realism. You had things at times that didn't make sense. Of course, no game is perfect, but the game itself was fun. It was the most fun 2K I've ever played. The game speed was fast. It was very reactive. The defense actually worked. The offense was actually there. It rewarded the good players if you was actually doing good on defense. And it rewarded the offensive players for making the good moves. It actually rewarded them taking good shots. Nowadays, we're just shooting over those. The slow-paced 2K that we're in now. What makes a game enjoyable? Well, it needs to be fun. If the game is not fun, it's cooked. So here's just a little tier list that games need in order for it to be fun. Because without fun, then what is the point of video games in the first place? Am I right? For one, the game has to be affordable. It does not matter if the game has the best gameplay in the world, like Elden Ring or like 2K16. If the game is like worth $300 or $400, you just spend that much just to even play the game, then no one's really gonna buy it, or people is gonna even think about not buying it in the first place. Even if there's a community that constantly buy it, no matter how much it costs, people is gonna shy away with it. You could have way more customers if you just literally lower down the price, have great gameplay. People's gonna stick by it because it's worth it. Second, it has to be responsive. If you're trying to move around the game, you have to feel in control of your player. If you're not in control of your player, then what are you doing? Without that control, without that feeling of freedom to be able to do what you want on the offense or even on the defense. Hell, even in some fantasy games like in Elden Ring does a great thing at this when it's very responsive with your player. You feel more control of your player. The freedom that it brings to the game is just beautiful at the end of the day. You can do whatever the hell you want. And then last but not least is that the game has to give you a reason to stay on it. Long-term wise, right? Retention. And this is where highlight moments come in, competitive moments come in, and this is where winning and progression comes in. 2K16's rep bar is a great example of this. It gave you a reason to go grind the game. It gave you a reason to go stay on the game. For example, when Ribbit won that park, they won that park, and I ain't gonna lie, I was in Sunset Beach. But when I saw that park, I wanted to be part of Ribbit City. That park was tough. I ain't even gonna lie, that park was clean. Those are one of those moments, those close competitive moments, those highlights when you go cross somebody up, momentum behind the back, step back, hit them up for a three and they on the floor, on the ground. Or you just got takeover, you hit them with a snatchback and they just fall. Those moments, those dribble guides, and back in 2K17 and 16, the dribble guides made the game fun for people who didn't have the game. So it's like, okay, well, this look lit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this will make me want to buy the game. 2K17 dribble guide mixtape, Man, I wanted to learn how to do all that. I wanted to do all that now. If you look at 2K24 now and see how the dribbling is now, why the hell would you want to buy it? There's no reason to buy 2K24 now. Like, to be honest, there's nothing really appealing about it. I mean, yeah, they have Pro Play, but Pro Play seems like now of a scam more than ever. The game is, Pro Play moves don't even work. I know I'm going a little bit off track here, but Pro Play moves don't even work, bro. They're not good at all. I'm gonna be honest, only a handful of moves work in 2K. The reason why a lot of people do not like Pro Play is because those moves don't work against a lockdown or a good defender, right? So Pro Play moves, they may work most of the time against some bums in the rec, right? But if you're playing against someone who is very good on defense, who is very fast and reactive, and even can predict your movement, Pro Play is too predictable to those guys, because it's just way too slow, or it's a load up. To the average, you may be able to best them out with a little post and little pump fakes or whatever and stuff like that, right? But against people who actually know how to really dribble and really cheese and really use the L2 cancels and stuff like that, or even cheese the game a little bit with the dribbling side, it's going to be harder for that good defender to go guard him, because now the offensive player is not implementing moves that actually work. Most of the time, Pro Play does not work. And this is why I say, personally, I think Pro Play is more of a scam to go get people to go buy the game. But overall, those moves are not effective in the park against an actual good defender. Against an actual lockdown, against an actual player that knows what he's doing on defense, those moves are way too slow and just not effective. And this goes on to my point as the reason why Realism is destroying the game. In the recent 2Ks of 21, 22, 23, 24, is that Realism comes at a cost. The cost of good gameplay. Realism actually destroys good gameplay because now it's more stiff, it's more sluggish, it's slow paced, right? For example, there is a basketball simulation game that you can look up online that's very slow and it's AI generated, you know what I'm saying? Runs smooth and everything like that. And people may think like this is what 2K needs in order for it to be a real game because it looks so realistic. The problem is that the game is too slow. It's too much slow pace. It's so many foul calls being called, right? This can cause the game to be very boring when it's moving this slow, right? And in 2K, you start to see this in badges like Whistle. This badge is the ultimate bailout in the game. The moment you have Whistle on Gold or even Hall of Fame, or even Silver at times, it's just a bailout because it destroys anything that the defender can do. For example, right? There has been times in the rec, I have gotten a snatch block or a good contest and the game calls a foul on me because I'm playing my role as the center. I'm stopping the guard or whoever's trying to go drive to the basket, just take a horrible shot, and yet still get the foul call. This is the problem. The game is moving too slow. Why is there so many foul calls being called for just bad offense? They're not rewarding good defense. This is the hugest problem in the game right now, is that they reward this. If you notice in the game, you know how you get a tip pass in 2K? And the offensive player who threw that pass somehow, some way always gets the ball back? Well, they get a speed boost towards the ball faster than you. You may even have workhorse on Hall of Fame, but it doesn't matter because the offense is just so overpowered in 2K because, you know, they're trying to slow it down and everything like that. And they reward the offense more than the defense, that now it destroys the good gameplay they could have if this shit wasn't so realistic. But 2K is more appealing to the offense, more appealing to the casual. So the offense is going to get the ball most of the time in those situations, those half and half situations, unfortunately. The cost of Realism that is destroying the game is that it destroys a skill gap. It destroys the skill gap 110%. And it just appeals more to the newer players, to the newer audience that's coming more to 2K. But back in the older 2Ks, back in 2K16, 17, hell, even 2K15, you can even argue 2K19 and 20 that there was actually a skill gap in the game. You can actually tell who's a good player and who's definitely going to be the type of player that's going to just sell you out. They're just going to sell you out the entire game. Hell, if you look at other games like Elden Ring, right, or even Call of Duty, or even XDefiant, or even Fortnite, you can tell there are levels. Apex, for even for an example, you can tell that there are levels to this shit. You feel what I'm saying? There is a player in Apex Legends whose name is Fade. The man's movement is just out of this world. He clearly shows a difference between an average, good, great, and then there's a legendary type of player. That his movement is just that insane. His aim is that insane to where it's like, bro, it's clearly a skill gap between everybody else on how high his ceiling is. Even in Call of Duty, skill-based matchmaking, it protects the bad players from the good players. So now nothing but the tryhards are playing nothing but tryhards. They don't have a casual moment at all in the game. They don't have a time space in the game for them to chill out and just have fun and play brain dead. They have to constantly try hard in every single lobby. Casual bad players, right? Some of the bad players, they're protected. And the crazy thing is about this protection, they think that they're really good. The bad players really think that they're really good because of the lobbies that they're getting. So they're dropping nukes or whatever in some of these lobbies, but in reality, no one's shooting at them back. No one's even wall jumping or bunny hop or whatever, or slide canceling or whatever. They're not even seeing that. Hell, it's horrible accuracy in some of those lobbies if you actually go on YouTube and just watch. It's going crazy right now where people have to reverse boost just to have fun in Call of Duty. I think the last and biggest problem, in my opinion, that is destroying 2K when it comes to realism is the randomness. Your jump shot changes so much in the game, it makes no sense. At times on defense, you don't even feel in control of your player. Hell, even sometimes in offense, you don't even feel in control of your player. You ever just dribbled in 2K and then you try to do a certain moves, but different moves came out? Like it was just a spam of different moves that just came out of nowhere. And you're like, man, I didn't even do this move. I wasn't trying to do that. It's too much randomness in this game. Not to mention how laggy the game is. The moment you load up in the city, you're lagging the moment you load up. The city is just an absolute mess and no one likes it. And I don't understand why they added it in the game, but it's getting to the point where people are tired. And don't get me started with the rec, because not a lot of players don't know IQ. They don't have IQ. Let's just be honest. If you ever played random rec, you will understand that most of those players do not have IQ. And that has been that way since 2K19. I'm just being honest. That's not all 2K's fault right there. Ghost contest is very random. There's so many random things that happen in the game. And it's kind of hard to predict at times because you can't tell when a ghost contest is coming. You think you're wide open, but then all of a sudden it says 40%. And the person is not even close to you. They just jumped at you, but they're not close to you. And they somehow, some way, it still says 40%. So the randomness in the game has got to get fixed. Balancing, it's bad, man. It is so bad. The balancing with the builder is horrible. It's freaking horrible. Because once you understand the gameplay in the game, you will understand what's OP in the builder. That's why in the beginning of the year, I recommend people to just wait when the game drops. Because you don't know the gameplay mechanics yet. Once you understand the gameplay mechanics, then that's when you make your build, because now you're able to abuse some certain things. I understand it's kind of weird to say that, but at the same time, man, hey, look, you don't want to mess with your build and then spend another $100 on that other build, and then you have to go grind and invest in it again. And then not to mention, and now NBA2k is now moving to this route that NBA Live is doing with this realism. Why are you trying to be more realistic? Go back to the roots of how it was. Fast-paced, reactive, and affordable. God damn. I think 2K needs to go back to that place to where they go back to the golden ages of 2K. To 2K15, 16, 17, hell, 19, 20. Those games were fun. They had fun aspects to them. The community was lit in them. People loved those games because they was just fun. Those close competitive moments, those highlight moments. I feel like those moments are mainly gone in 2K24. They're not there. That X factor of fun is not there. And that is the problem. That is the biggest problem that I see in 2K. The game is simply not fun. It is not a fun game. It is a boring game. It is simply a game that is out there to go take your money. And that is the biggest issue. And I wonder what your guys' thoughts is on this, man. I wonder, does 2K need to keep going on the route of realism? Or is it time to go back to the roots of 2K16? Or the 2K17 eras? Or the 2K15 eras? You know what I'm saying? Is it time to go back to the 2K19-20 eras? You know what I'm saying? Is it time to go back to those? Because where the game is at, we are simply seeing where it's going. And it's going downhill, man. But let me know down in the comments. Again, make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button. We're trying to go for 1,000 subscribers, man. I'm back on the tube and I am grinding this gaming thing, man. I really think it's gonna be great.